After Mom died, my brother promised we'd split the inheritance. I trusted him. Then I got evicted. He drained our joint account, left me $14, and moved to Arizona. When I called, he said, life's a game. I just played better. But when he showed up at our cousin's wedding like nothing happened, I made a quiet decision that night. After Mom died, I was in bad shape. I couldn't sleep, couldn't think straight. Every room reminded me of her. The way she used to hum while folding laundry. Her tea mug still on the counter. Her slippers by the couch. It hit me hard. But Caleb seemed fine. He flew in for the funeral, shook some hands, gave a decent eulogy, and even joked a little at the dinner afterward. That's how he always was. Slick. Confident. Nothing seemed to stick to him. Mom's will was clear, split everything down the middle. The house, the money, her old car. Caleb was her firstborn, but she wasn't the kind of mom to play favorites. She wanted it fair. We sat in the lawyer's office, just the two of us and some quiet guy in a cheap suit reading the paperwork. I remember thinking, we'll get through this. Together. I didn't have much going on then. I was laid off from my warehouse job months earlier. My savings were thin, and I was scraping by doing odd jobs. Caleb, on the other hand, had just left some startup gig and said he was figuring things out. I told him we should sell the house, put the money into one place, and sort it out after we'd had time to breathe. He agreed. Told me, we're blood, man. You don't have to worry about a thing. So I trusted him. We opened a joint bank account, moved everything in, about $113,000 after the house sold and other stuff was handled. He even helped me move into a small one-bedroom apartment outside of downtown Kansas City. Told me he'd cover my rent for a few months until I found something steady. For a while, I actually thought he meant it. Then, one Friday morning, I woke up and saw an envelope slipped under my door. I thought it was just junk, but when I opened it, I froze. It was an eviction notice. Apparently, my last 2 rent checks bounced. I had 5 days to leave. Panicked, I logged into the joint account. $14. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours. I thought it was a mistake, maybe a glitch. Then I saw the transactions. He'd emptied it, every last dollar. Plane tickets, hotel charges in Vegas, thousands to a dealership, payments to some Arizona bank account, electronics, bars, transfers labeled investment or miscellaneous. I called him. Straight to voicemail. Called again. Voicemail. Texted him. Nothing. Took a full day of calling nonstop before he finally picked up. I was standing outside a closed-down diner with my stuff in a trash bag. I didn't even have gas money to get to a friend's place. You drained the account, I said. You took everything. He laughed. Not even a pause. Life's a game, bro, he said. I just played better. Then he hung up. That's when it hit me, he never planned to split it. Not even close. I didn't hear from him again. I couch surfed. Took jobs no one wanted. Cleaned toilets. Delivered food. Anything to keep me afloat. Meanwhile, I'd see him pop up on social media. New car. New place in Scottsdale. Fancy dinners. Crypto bullshit. All paid for with Mom's money. I hated him. But I said nothing. Then came our cousin Carly's wedding. 6 months later, she texted me personally and said she really wanted me there. I told her I wasn't doing great, and she offered to pay for a hotel and a suit rental. I said no. She insisted. She always had a good heart. I showed up tired, underfed, and still pissed off, but I didn't want to miss it. Carly deserved better than another no-show in the family. The second I walked into the reception hall, I saw him. Caleb. He was near the bar in a tailored suit, drink in hand, chatting with 2 bridesmaids like he owned the room. He saw me, lifted his glass in this smug little toast, like we were cool. I didn't react. I nodded, walked past him, didn't say a word, but in my head everything clicked. He wanted to be seen. He thought he was untouchable. He thought I'd just fade away, broke and quiet. That's the night I decided to get it all back. Not just the money. Everything. That wedding night, I barely spoke to anyone. I watched Caleb from a distance. The way he laughed, the way people leaned in when he talked. He still had that charm. That fake, shiny grin that people couldn't see through. But I knew what was behind it. He wasn't some tech genius or crypto wizard. He was a liar who stole from his own brother. and everyone thought he was just the fun one. I slipped outside during the dancing. I needed air. Needed to think. That's when Carly came out to smoke. She offered me one, like old times. I don't smoke anymore, but I took it just to have something to do with my hands. You okay? She asked. I hesitated. Then I told her everything. Not just the money. The eviction. The ignored calls. The way Caleb laughed in my face. She went quiet. I thought he was doing well, she said. He told me he started his own business. He did with money that wasn't his. Carly didn't say anything for a while. Just stood there, breathing slow. Then she said, I have an idea. It started small. Just her talking to family. Planting seeds. Asking questions in that innocent way people don't catch right away. How's Caleb doing? Oh, did you know he and my name had a falling out? Yeah, weird thing, their mom's inheritance got messed up. Word started spreading. Quietly. By dessert, people were whispering. Glancing his way. He looked uncomfortable. Scratched at his collar. Kept checking his phone. But that wasn't enough. After the wedding, I stayed in town longer than I planned. Crashed at Carly's. We came up with more. She had photos. Bank records. A printout I'd given her showing the transfers and the dates. I filed a small claims case in Missouri and opened a fraud complaint with our old bank. But I knew legal stuff would take time. So while that slowly moved forward, I took a different route. Caleb had a new gig online, some coaching thing for young entrepreneurs. He had a whole website, a TikTok, a podcast, the works. Bragging about success, telling people how to hustle, pretending to be a self-made man. But his whole empire was built on stolen money. So I joined his online Discord group. Fake name, fake profile. Played the part of a starry-eyed fan. I studied every video, every brag, every lie. Then I created my own site. A mirror version of his. But mine was full of facts. Screenshots. Statements. Messages. I called it Caleb the Con. I didn't blast it everywhere. That's not how you take someone like him down. I started slow, quiet. One person in his Discord would get a DM. Hey, just wondering if this is the same guy who stole $100,000 from his brother? Then I'd vanish. Another person would get a link to my site. No comment. In a month, his follower count started dropping. Then I saw posts pop up. This guy scammed his own brother. Do your research. Caleb isn't who he says he is. Red flags. He tried to deny it, of course. But I knew his pressure points. A month later, I saw it. His coaching site went down. TikTok deleted. Podcast episodes on pause. He tried switching platforms, but the whispers followed him. You don't get to steal someone's future and pretend you earned yours. I wasn't done yet. Just as things were falling apart for him online, Caleb tried to pivot. He went from entrepreneur to motivational speaker. Rebranded his content under a new name, C.J. Fields. Same smile, same voice, same recycled lies, just now with more fake humility. But I already knew what he'd do next. That's how it always was. He messed up, ran away, changed names, blamed someone else. So I got ahead of him. I contacted a few of the people he'd worked with in the past. Real people. Some of them were the vendors he ghosted. Others had gone in on projects with him that quietly fell apart. I told them my story. Some didn't believe me at first. But once I showed them the receipts, they started talking. I gathered every statement, every bit of proof. Built a timeline. Then came the break I didn't expect. A woman named Teresa emailed me through the site. She said she was Caleb's ex. He'd left her a year before, right around the time he drained the account. She told me he lied about owning a condo. About starting a business. Even lied about mom still being alive. But she had one thing I didn't, his Arizona address. I thought about it for a long time. What to do. Whether to use it. Then I bought a bus ticket. When I got there, I didn't knock on the door. I waited. Just sat on a park bench across from the little gated community he lived in. I watched him pull into his driveway in a Lexus with temp tags. Still living like he earned it. It was real now. Not just a screen. Not just a story. He was right there. I left him a note in his mailbox. No threats. Just 2 words. I know. The next day, his podcast shut down again. 2 days after that, his Discord disappeared. But then he made a mistake. He showed up at Carly's baby shower. I wasn't even sure he'd get the invite. Maybe someone slipped it in by accident. Or maybe he wanted to prove he wasn't scared. I was there helping with decorations. He walked in like nothing had happened. Hugged a few people. Smiled like he always did. Then his eyes met mine. He froze. No drink in hand this time. No bridesmaids laughing. Just a cold, awkward silence. You need to leave, Carly said, stepping between us. Caleb laughed nervously. What? No hello? You don't belong here, she said. Not anymore. People were watching now. He tried to save face. I came to make peace. Family's still family. I stepped closer. You stole from Mom's grave. Don't talk about family. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. He left 5 minutes later. No scene, no tantrum. Just walked out, shoulders tight, face red. But that wasn't the end. That was the moment I knew he was scared now. I had momentum, and I wasn't stopping. After the baby shower, I kept pressing. Teresa, Caleb's ex, had more. She'd been quiet at first, but once I showed her how deep his lies went, she wanted in. She had copies of bank records he gave her, fake documents he used to convince her he owned stock in some startup. She even found an old laptop of his, filled with notes, voice memos, and emails. One of those memos was a voice recording of him bragging about draining the inheritance. I played him like a violin, he said. Little bro always did what I said. Dumbass didn't even read the bank statements. That one hit me harder than I expected. Not just the words, the tone. Like I was a joke. Like Mom was a joke. I gave all of it to my lawyer. Took another 3 months, but the case went through. The fraud complaint was accepted. Because we had joint ownership of the account and he had moved the money without consent, the bank ruled in my favor. The court ordered him to repay me $58,000, plus damages. But he had nothing left to give. The house in Arizona, leased. The Lexus, repoed a week after the judgment. The accounts, frozen. I won on paper, but I didn't feel better. I still remembered that night with the trash bag over my shoulder, sleeping in my car outside a Walmart. That pain didn't go away just because a judge said I was right. So I did something I still think about. I posted the recording. The one where he laughed about me. The one where he called me a dumbass. I didn't post it under my name. I just uploaded it to Reddit with the story. No names, just details. Enough for people to connect the dots. It went viral. People found his new profiles. Every time he tried to start something new, coaching, investing, marketing, someone would post the link. This the guy who robbed his brother? He couldn't escape it. Every lie stuck to him now. 6 months after that, he moved back to Kansas City. Tried to lay low. I ran into him by accident outside a gas station. He looked older. Thinner. Tired. No smile this time. You happy now? He asked. I didn't say anything at first. Just looked at him. You left me with $14, I finally said. I didn't get even. I just made sure the world saw who you really were. He laughed, but there was no joy in it. You ruined my life. I nodded. And you almost ruined mine. We stood there for a second. Nothing else to say. He walked off. As for me, I used the court money to clear my debts. Got a job at a print shop. Nothing fancy, but it's mine. Quiet work, honest work. I still think about Mom. What she'd say if she saw how things ended between us. I think she'd be heartbroken. But I also think she'd want me to stand up for myself. I made a lot of mistakes. I trusted too easy. I let him handle too much. I wanted peace when I should have demanded fairness. But I made sure he paid. Not just with money. With reputation. With shame. With silence that followed him everywhere he went. He played a game. But I ended it.